Hey everyone, and welcome back to Old Charles, the channel where we dig into the stories and values hidden in your pocket change. Ever find yourself with a handful of old coins and wonder, is any of this actually worth something? Today, we're focusing on a coin that millions and millions of you have almost certainly held in your hand, the 1977 Jefferson Nickel. It's a piece of late 70s Americana, a relic of disco, Star Wars, and Jimmy Carter. But is it a coin that's going to pay for your next vacation? Or is it just, well, 5 cents? Stick around, because we're going to dive deep into its history, its key varieties, and of course, the answer to the big question, what is a 1977 nickel really worth? To understand the 1977 nickel, we have to go back to the US Mint in the late 1970s. This was a time of high inflation. The mint was churning out coins at a massive rate to keep up with the economy's demand for circulating currency. In 1977 alone, the mint produced a staggering over 800 million nickels across its two main facilities, Philadelphia, which coins have no mint mark, and Denver, which coins have a small d on the obverse, near the date. The first and most important lesson in coin collecting is scarcity. When something is made in the hundreds of millions, it is, by definition, not rare. And that is the primary reason why the vast majority of 1977 nickels are still just worth 5 cents. So, let's look at these two coins side by side. Here's the 1977 P from Philadelphia, and here's the 1977 D from Denver. To the untrained eye, they're identical. But to a collector, that tiny d makes all the difference, not necessarily in value for this date, but in completing a collection. Now, the value for any circulated coin, that is, a coin that's been in pockets and vending machines, is almost entirely face value. If you have a worn 1977 P or 1977 D nickel with scratches, dings, and faded details, it's worth 5 cents. It's a great candidate for a junk box, or to start a type set for a young collector, but it's not going to pay for your coffee. This brings us to the golden rule of numismatics: condition is king. The value of a common date coin like this skyrockets when it is preserved in a pristine, untouched state. Let's talk about the grading scale. We go from good, which is heavily worn, all the way up to mint state, which means it left the mint and went directly into a protective holder, never to be touched by human hands again. For a 1977 nickel in mint state, MS 60 to MS 63, we're talking about a value of 50 cents to maybe $1. Still not life-changing, but a 10x to 20x return on face value. But here's where it gets interesting. In mint state 65, MS 65, a gem-quality coin with superb luster and only minor contact marks, the value can jump to $2 to $5. And for the absolute finest examples, graded MS 66 or higher by a service like PCGS or NGC, you could be looking at a coin worth $10 to $20, or even more. Why? Because even though millions were made, very, very few survived in this perfect condition. Finding a 45-year-old coin that looks like it was struck yesterday is always a special event. Now, for the Jefferson nickel, there is one specific detail that separates the good from the great, the common from the coveted. And that is, the steps of Monticello. On a perfectly struck coin, you should be able to see at least 5, and ideally 6, fully separated steps on the building. This is known as the full steps designation. On most circulated and even many uncirculated nickels, these steps are mushy, blended together, or incomplete due to a weak strike or wear. A 1977 nickel graded MS 65 with full steps, FS, is a completely different beast. While a regular MS 65 might be worth a few dollars, a 1977 P or 1977 D graded MS 65 FS can be worth $20 to $50, and the highest graded examples can fetch over $100 at auction. This is the true, sleeper, potential of the 1977 nickel. It's not about the date, it's about the quality and the preservation of a specific, hard-to-achieve feature. So, you're probably wondering, how do I check my own nickels? Here's your action plan. 1. Get a magnifier *. You absolutely need a jeweler's loupe or a strong magnifying glass. Your eyes won't cut it for the fine details. Point 2. Look for the mint mark asterisk first, identify if you have a 1977 P or 1977 D. This is crucial for cataloging. Point 3. Assess the condition asterisk is the coin worn. Can you see all the lines in Jefferson's hair? Is there any original mint luster, that shiny, almost silvery glow? If it's shiny and scratch-free, you might have an uncirculated coin. Point 4. The full steps test asterisk this is the big one. Use your loupe and look at the steps on Monticello. How many can you clearly see? Are they separated, or are they blended into a single blob? If you can see 5 or 6 distinct steps, you might have a winner. Remember, if you think you have a potential full steps or a high-grade uncirculated coin, handle it by the edges. The oils from your fingers can damage the surface and reduce its grade and value. Circulated 1977 nickel asterisk 5 cents, face value, uncirculated, MS 63 asterisk 50 cents to $1 gem uncirculated, MS 65 asterisk 2 to $5 superb gem, MS 66 plus asterisk 10 to $20 with full steps, FS asterisk 20 to $100 for 99.9% of all 1977 nickels out there. The value is and will remain 5 cents. They are common coins in a common state, however, for that tiny fraction of coins that were saved in pristine condition and possess that elusive full steps detail, there is a very real and significant premium. We're not talking retirement money, but a $50 or $100 bill hiding in a coin tube is nothing to sneeze at. The 1977 nickel teaches us a vital lesson in coin collecting. It's not always about the date. Sometimes, the real treasure is in the quality and the strike. Today, we're unraveling the complete history of one of the most resilient coins in American history, the 5-cent piece, better known as the nickel. It's a tale of war, economic chaos, artistic debate, and a founding father who wouldn't get his face on the coin for over 150 years. In the early days of the United States, there was no official 5-cent coin. The new nation ran on a hodgepodge of foreign currency, primarily Spanish silver coins like the piece of 8. The smallest unit was the bit, worth about 12.5 cents. So, a 2-bit quarter makes sense, but where did that leave 5 cents? It was an awkward amount. The very first official coinage of the United States Mint, authorized by the Coinage Act of 1792, included a tiny silver coin called a half-dime, pronounced dime. It was made of silver and was the precursor to our 5-cent piece, but silver was expensive and volatile. For everyday small change, Americans used half-dimes. These tiny silver coins were minted from 1794 to 1873. But the mid-19th century brought a massive disruption, the Civil War. During the war, people were so fearful for the government's survival that they began hoarding gold and silver coins. All coinage, including the half-dime, vanished from circulation overnight. Commerce seized up. The country was literally starved for change. The government needed a solution, fast. They needed a coin made of a less precious, more affordable metal. The answer? Nickel. A powerful industrialist and congressman named Joseph Warton had a near monopoly on nickel mining in the U.S. He lobbied heavily for the use of his metal. In 1866, Congress authorized a new 5-cent coin made of a copper-nickel alloy, asterisk 75% copper and 25% nickel asterisk, a composition that, remarkably, remains the same to this day. The first of its kind was the shield nickel. Its design was intensely symbolic for a nation healing from civil war, a large shield representing national unity, crossed arrows below it, and 13 stars for the original colonies. The first years, from 1866 to 1867, featured rays on the reverse between the stars. These were removed because they made the coin too difficult to strike properly. The shield nickel was tough, utilitarian, and it worked. It got change flowing again and cemented the 5-cent coin's place in American life. In 1883, the coin got a glamorous makeover. Charles Barber, the mint's chief engraver, designed the Liberty Head nickel, featuring a classic profile of Lady Liberty on the obverse and a large Roman numeral V, for 5, on the reverse. The coin didn't have the word cents on it. Its size and gold color were similar to a $5 gold piece. Con artists quickly gold-plated the new nickels and passed them off as $5 coins to unsuspecting shopkeepers. The U.S. Mint was forced to rush a redesign, adding cents below the V later that same year. The 1883 no cents nickel is now a famous and collectible variety, but the legend of the V nickel gets even wilder. Enter the 1913 Liberty Head nickel. Officially, the Liberty Head design was replaced by the Buffalo nickel in 1913. So, no 1913 Liberty Head nickels should exist, but 5 were mysteriously struck, likely as a secret proof by a mint employee. Only 5 in the world. Each one has a legendary history, passing through the hands of kings and collectors. One sold in 2018 for over $4.5 million. As America moved into the 20th century, there was a desire for more uniquely American designs. President Theodore Roosevelt championed this new classical revival. The result was one of the most iconic coins ever minted, the Buffalo nickel, or Indian head nickel, designed by James O. Fraser. It featured a composite portrait of 3 Native American chiefs on the obverse and an American. New York Central Park Zoo, on the reverse. It was a beautiful and powerful design, but it had a major flaw. The date, struck on the raised ground, wore away quickly in circulation. This is why so many Buffalo nickels you find have completely faded dates. It was a masterpiece of art, but a failure of practical design. In 1938, to mark the 200th anniversary of Thomas Jefferson's birth, the Treasury held a public competition for a new nickel design. The winner was a German-born artist named Felix Schlag. His design featured a dignified portrait of Jefferson on the obverse and a front-facing view of his iconic Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. The Jefferson nickel has been with us ever since, but it hasn't been static. In 2004 and 2005, for the Westward Journey nickel series, the design was dramatically altered to commemorate the Lewis and Clark expedition. We saw the keelboat, the American bison, a nod to the Buffalo nickel, and an ocean in view design, and since 2006, we've had a modernized, forward-facing portrait of Jefferson, based on a famous 1800 painting by Rembrandt Peale. And for collectors, the key detail on the modern Jefferson nickel is right here, the steps of Monticello. A coin with full, sharp steps is always worth a premium, turning a common coin into a collectible treasure. From a stopgap solution to a Civil War crisis, to a canvas for some of America's most iconic art, the nickel has had an incredible journey. It's a coin that saw the closing of the frontier, the rise of modern America, and has remained in our pockets through it all. It's a workhorse, a piece of art, and a tangible piece of history. Now I want to hear from you. Which nickel design is your favorite? The classic shield? The iconic Buffalo? Or the familiar Jefferson? Let me know in the comments below.